Whoa. Yeah.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip, this, wet. Tell him run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell him run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip, this, wet. Tell him run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell him run it up. 9 out of 10, roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice, send.
He should know the countdown. He should know. If anybody should know the countdown, it should be Julius Hall, Coach Julius Hall. He should know. I go say greetings. I got to stop because I see an empty chair. We got Coach Rob DeLoach, Coach Julius Hall, Jamal Touré. This is Ebony Sports Reporters. Until again, America, guess what? Mike Kelly, I can't wait for the stuff that's going to come out their mouths also, Mike Kelly. I'm letting you know this right now. So we move on to this. Brittney Griner has pled guilty in Russia, but even with that, even though she pled guilty, guess what? That does not mean that it's going to be resolved. That they said that the judge still had to take in evidence on the case, and it could be weeks, it could be months. That's what they said. But folks are going to say that this is also a tactic to try to work out some bargaining with regards to Brittney Griner. And so Brittney is a part of the Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA. So we're going to segue to this. Skylar Diggins-Smith called out her coach, called her coach a clown about the comments she made about Diana Taurasi. Coach Rob DeLoach, what's going on with the Mercury? What goes on with regards to when a player calling their coach a clown?
Well, it's a matter of respect, you know. Coaches come and go, but those teammates' bonds are for a lifetime. And, you know, those young ladies, especially Taurasi, you know, she's considered one of the best female basketball players ever. So her boy, coach, they've been playing the game. They just trying to support the young lady. You know, she's in a bad situation right now, and hopefully, you know, we can get her back home and she would have learned her lesson. You know, not only.
But Coach Rob keep freezing up.
Coach, and he's probably in the Highlands. So,
yeah, so
we go on to Coach Julius Hall. What's your thoughts with regards to because Skylar Diggins called her coach a clown because the coach is basically trying to promote Diana, saying that she didn't get the recognition. And so Skylar threw it out there. So what is that about? And what's your thoughts with regards to a player calling a coach a clown publicly?
Well, it was some clown stuff that she said. She said that it's an all-star game. It's a game going to be played on the 10th, but it won't be an all-star game because Taurasi is not in it. She can't say that. Taurasi was an all-star. Evidently, some people think that she's still not an all-star. So the coach cannot throw slight at everybody else who's in the game. What she should have been saying was, it's not going to be an all-star game because Brittney Griner ain't there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That was she should have said, not because Taurasi wasn't voted in. So yeah, you know, I didn't like that either. I'm all with Skylar. Skylar know what she's talking about.
All right. And so again, we'll move on to this right here. This is someone tied to the transfer portal, and this is tied to Jimbo Fisher, Coach Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M. His son Trey is now transferring to an HBCU to not play. He's leaving and now going. What's your thoughts with regards to that? So even Jimbo Fisher's son is going to HBCU.
Hey, it's sweet as black of the berry, sweet as juice. You know, and they you know, he's going over there to play ball where he can start at and do the things that he needs to do. If go and recruit these coaches the way that we recruit the players, then these HBCUs would be okay. these HBCUs got to get out of the knack of just hiring somebody and hire somebody who with the status that can bring the players in. You know, players are going to go where the coach is at. They're going to go where there's a winning program, and so you have to get the coaches in so that the coaches can recruit properly. You got a bunch of great athletes that came from these schools that the schools need to be going after to coach, so they can bring those players in. You know?
Okay, all right. Now this is something because again we got breaking news that occurs, but this is something that has been thrown out there, and some say it probably will not happen. What, Coach Julius Hall, what do you think will take for Kevin Durant to go back to Golden State for the Nets to work it out, and with regards to the Warriors working it out to have Kevin come back? What do you think would need to come into play for Kevin to return back to Golden State?
Well, they just dumped a bunch of players, so it would take that, getting rid of all that undergird, that support staff that they had. The core players are still there, so it wouldn't. I think they just got to get into cap, under the cap. Durant, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they need Durant. They can get those players and fill in with all these great players that's coming up now. You got some great players that we'll be hearing about in the next 5-10 years that are in high school and college right now. So, you know, they when Steph is going out the door, he'll probably still go out the door winning 2 or 3 if he can keep Clay and Draymond and Poole locked in there. That's the nucleus of their team. All they need is a 2 other big men and some rest up guys. They're gonna be all right. They don't really need them. 1501. 1501. Did you see what she just did a minute ago? 1501.
1501.
She wasn't paying attention.
1501 in the house. 1501 in the house. We saw an empty chair, and that was from the president of Our Black Media. We saw an empty chair. So, all right. So, because again, I asked them and said that would be something, that'd be like a wonderful utopia, because then we know that, again, the Warriors will basically dominate everything if that was to happen. But we understand that there's a lot of machines that need to be working with regard to make something like that happen. Probably multi-team deal with regard to that. But then we'll move on with regards to this. And now we come to and that's why we wanted to have Coach Rob DeLoach on to have a conversation about this right here. And Sha'Carri Richardson, there have been some highs and lows for her. We have seen that. We have seen it manifested. We've seen it off the track and on the track. We have seen her not basically fulfilling, if some people think, what was her destiny. What is going on with Sha'Carri Richardson, Coach Julius Hall, from your estimation? Again, not say that we know for a fact, but what is the thing what you have observed and the information that you have gotten?
Well, I'm just gonna keep it straight with Sha'Carri. I'm gonna talk to her right here. First, I'm gonna tell you what you need to do for the fellas, Sha'Carri. You need to wear tighter outfits. That will make you fly down the field. That would give all us that inspiration to pull for you. Okay, second of all, she needs to cut her hair. It's flying everywhere, and I think it's slowing her down. She probably needs to smoke less weed, and she needs to not have sex before an event. What?
Okay, America. Okay.
Michael Jordan taught him that. Never have sex before you play. It drains you of your energy. So she's been running. She's supposed to be one of the fastest in the world, but she's been running 3rd and 4th and everything now. So she got something wrong. There's no consistency. You know, she's not at the top of her game. She's not disciplined enough, I think. Okay. You asked my opinion, so I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, I'm at that. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. So some have expressed a concern about Sha'Carri with regard to what's going on, again, and not necessarily fulfilling what was supposed to be. They thought it was going to be a track season that was going to be stellar for her, that she was going to be able to showcase everything, but it's not happened like that. And then folks have seen other behaviors, other viewpoints that, again, basically still having somewhat of a few with the Jamaican runners, sprinters, and again, getting into with regards to the media as to what the media, how they should respect. And I have to go and throw this out there and say that it is not saying that we're not saying that she smokes marijuana regularly. It was just that one time that occurred. Coach Julius Hall, that's his statement, his opinion, but that's not Ebony Sports Reporters, just to let y'all know that. So now we come to this. What are some other athletes who've had skill sets who in turn basically burned out, petered themselves out with regards to their skill sets?
Which
that?
athletes burned out before their time?
Yes. Since Coach Rob DeLoach is here, I'm trying to figure out. I'm hearing music. Is that on my end or is that?
That's music. So it won't be so boring on the set. That's music that gave us to put in the background music. But go ahead. It's playing real low. It when you hear it in the thing, it adds to the performance of the telecast.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it does.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I said, America, I can't. I'm just here. I'm just here. This is their world, and I'm just a nut. I'm just a nut in their world. But okay, Coach Rob DeLoach, I threw it out to Coach Julius Hall, but I'm gonna throw it out to you. Oh Lord.
Yeah, I like the music.
That's why we need 15-on-1 forever. There are 15-on-1 people we connect forever.
15-on-1 slipping. 15-on-1 should have put the music on. Instead of that
15-on-1 understood that we ain't had need no music. But anyway, says again, Coach Rob DeLoach, Coach Julius Hall, they voted and said we want music in the background. They're like, okay. So Coach Rob DeLoach, Sha'Carri Richardson, she has not fulfilled what people expected to see of her this track season right here. She has not fulfilled what people were looking for. And so, what's your thoughts with regards to Sha'Carri Richardson?
Well, Sha'Carri.
Oh, excuse me. And Coach Julius Hall already gave his opinion on some stuff. And again, to America, but it's about to come out. Coach Rob DeLoach's mouth again is not the views of Ebony Sports Reporters.
Did Coach DeLoach here mad?
No, I did not.
Well, so you won't have to go over the same thing. I'm going to tell you what she needs to do. She needs to wear tighter outfits so she can fly down the field. She needs to cut her hair. She needs to smoke less weed. And she need not have sex before she runs.
What's wrong with that?
And again, I will repeat. That is the opinion of Coach Julius Hall, not Ebony Sports Reporters. Coach Julius Hall. Okay. Coach Rob DeLoach. Now we come to you. I'm frightened.
Well, I would agree with the tights. I would agree that she probably needs to run and take that weave out of here, for one. Right? Because like I said before, less is best in track and field. So the less you wear, the less you got to fight in that game. And I think, overall, she just needs to regroup, take the rest of the year off, find out who she really is, and find out if there's something she really wants to do. Because I think the young lady has a talent, but she hasn't surrounded herself with great people, or she hasn't listened to the people that try to give her advice. I knew it was trouble when she ignored Allison Felix and didn't want to, listen to what she had to say when it came to counseling her and being on that stage. So she was headed for disaster once she distanced herself from Allison Felix, the greatest track athlete ever, women's track athlete ever.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I told Coach Rob, she's not disciplined enough. She
No.
still wants to hang on the corner type attitude, and that's not going to work.
Yeah, talent only get you so far.
That's right. Got to have discipline.
You gotta have discipline and accountability.
Yeah.
And so now we move on to this. This question is, what are athletes who have basically burned themselves out or petered out with regard to their careers that, again, had the talent, had the abilities, but they too fell apart with regards to the abilities? So just your thoughts. I mean, Coach Julius Hall, who are some athletes that you think did not fulfill their destinies with regard to their greatness, their talents, and their abilities?
Well, one that I know that burnt all his talent out, and he's an ex-Savannah Christian transfer from Jenkins, Jamal Torre. He had the talent to probably go to the next level, but then he burnt himself out and couldn't get to that level. But he's an American, a Savannah legend that should have went to the next level, but he burnt himself out before he could get up there. And so that's my thoughts on who burnt himself out real fast.
As I said to y'all, America, you never know what's about to come out. Okay, Coach Rob DeLoach.
I would say that guy that's running for senator, Herschel Walker.
Good one. That's a good one.
Herschel brought home and Buckaloo and Lindsey brought home a national championship to Georgia.
Yeah, but where they went after that?
You see where it got him, right? You got Herschel out here speaking out the side of his neck.
Okay.
He fumbling the ball, offside. Can't catch the ball out the backfield. He don't know what he's doing.
And I will say this, that if we had a 27-17, then many of us would fulfill our destinies, Coach Julius Hall. If we had a 27, but they did not want to create a 27-17 for us. They want to wait. So again,
27-17, they need a 27-17 everywhere.
Yes, they did. No doubt. We just had a young man join our team tonight. Lester Hayes' son decided that he's went to West Point. He's finished playing football, but he still has the passion to want to work with the kids. So as of tonight, he's joining our team, and he's going to work with our kids in the community on skill positions. Okay, good. Christian Hayes.
Well, and that's a wonderful thing. That is good. Hopefully, he will not have to deal with the stuff that occurs when Julius Hall pays a visit at 27-17 with Coach Rob DeLoach and get into the lies and the slander that they engage in. But that's, again, another story for another show to be discussed at another time. So we move on to this right here. Baker Mayfield now in Carolina. Baker Mayfield's in Carolina. So do you think the Falcons or the Saints, do you think they are basically lost right now, that they're going to be like at the bottom level, and that you're going to see Carolina now rising up to the top? Do you think that's about to happen with regards to Baker Mayfield now in Carolina? And so would you bet your house on that? Would you bet your house on that, Coach Rob DeLoach?
I just moved in this house. Hell no, I'm not selling Baker Mayfield. Not even if I had a trailer. Baker is who he is, and the wide receiver openly said that he didn't want Baker. Robbie Anderson on the team. So we're going to see how this work out with Baker in Carolina.
So, Coach Julius Hall. Oh, my, wait a minute. Coach Julius Hall, you are a fan of the Saints. Do you think that Baker is going to surpass the Carolina Panthers? Because they're going to surpass the Saints with regards to the NFC South? What do you think? The Falcons and the Saints are lost now based on Baker being in Carolina. What are your thoughts on that, Coach Julius Hall?
Well, I think that they're going to be a middle of the road type team. They'll probably be 8-8. Baker will take a few years before he can get into, and then Donald, the boy named Sam Donald.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he might. I don't think Baker Mayfield better than this boy. I don't. Let this boy stand there and do what he got to do. If he's not winning, then you put Baker Mayfield in. But no.
Okay. And we understand that you are a fan of the Saints, so we kind of expect that. So now we move on to this. The first game, it will be the Browns basically playing the Panthers. What do you think will occur with regard to that? What is going to be your prediction with regard to that? The Browns playing the Panthers. Coach Julius Hall, what's your thoughts on that?
I'll take the Browns for 200, Coach.
Ooh, okay.
I'll take the Browns. See, Carolina still got to have a good deep. They got an average deep. I went to see them play, and I was not impressed with their defense last year. So they still have to put get their D in place. Now I can't go to no more Carolina games unless I go and pay for the ticket myself. I got to go to Pittsburgh Steelers games now.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And so now we go to Coach Rob DeLose. What's your thoughts with regard to Browns when they not come and visit Carolina at home?
Myles Garrett is going to throw Baker Mayfield in the stands. And all the things he couldn't do in practice, now that he's wearing the opposing jersey, it's a whole new ball game. Cold Baker.
That's right.
So y'all don't think that Baker be having that feeling of revenge that he's going to show them, because there won't be any Deshaun at this point. At least not at this point. No decisions come down yet, but at least it appears that Deshaun probably would not be available by that time if something was to arise and he could play this season. So y'all don't think that Baker will have that revenge, have that with regards to revenge?
Well, he got guys on the team that don't even want him there.
and then he gonna have that revenge. But you got to be able to. That's just one player.
Yeah, you got.
You got to have those other 10 with him, and he got to have the other 11 on the on defense, and he got to have those 11 on special teams playing at the height at a level that's going to help him win.
Exactly.
You need consistency all around, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. All day, every day. Just like Dr. Jamal, need to be consistent.
That's right. Dr. Jamal.
We thank you for that. We now move on to this. And this with regards to your crystal ball. With your crystal ball, do you foresee the Braves catching the Mets? Do you foresee the Braves catching the Mets for first place in the NL East? Do you see that, Coach Rob DeLose? Do you foresee that happening in your crystal ball?
The Mets are going to be who they are. They always start out hot, and they always fade in the end. So I do see the Braves walking them down, and probably ended up with a 3 or 4 game lead when it's all said and done.
Okay. Coach Jesus Hall, Scherzer is back. He's back, and also DeGrom is about to come back also. So do you think, and you're with your crystal ball, do you foresee in your crystal ball that the Braves will now overtake the Mets and now lead the NL East?
Really? Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
The Braves were 13. The Braves were 13 games back. They went to 10 games back. They were 6 games back the other day. Now they're 2.5 games back. What you think? Who you think the hottest team in baseball is? The Atlanta Braves.
Other than the Yankees.
I think the Braves are a little hotter than the Yankees.
Yeah,
the Braves ain't playing with nobody. They don't play the music with nobody. You're looking at repeat world champions, son.
Okay, and your crystal ball, that's your prediction. That's crystal correct. Ball. He said, bam, it will be the Braves repeating again, World Series champs. Okay.
Yeah, all right. 2.5 back.
All right, so that's the prediction. We're about to go into All-Star break. So again, we'll see what's going on. Now we move on to this. Why is everybody stealing from the Warriors? Why, in particular, the Kings and the Lakers? Why is everybody stealing from the Warriors? Coach Julius Hall, why is that? What's going on with that?
Really? You stole players that were support players who, if somebody asked you where these players played, they probably wouldn't even be able to tell you. So I don't see a problem with the players that left. You got to move on to play somewhere after you win a world championship. You got to go somewhere where the pastures are greener, where you can make a little bit more money because you done played on this world championship team and you get a chance to start. I don't blame these guys. You got to go and move on someplace where you got a chance to play more. You done displayed your talent as backup role to the best team on the earth, my team, who I predicted before the year started. I didn't go with that Milwaukee thing because I knew that was just a fluke. There's no problem. The coaches are leaving and going to other places. Everybody, you're supposed to get rewarded when you win the world championship. You're supposed to get rewarded. The Braves are the only team in the world that split players up. They should have never let Freddie Freeman go. That's why Freddie Freeman fired his manager, his agent, because that agent should have sat him down and said, "Boy, sit down here. This money is the exact same when you weigh the expenses and everything. This is the exact same money. Sit down. This is where you need to be at." But they live and learn. Get your money.
And people toss out, how about them Yankees? How about them Yankees? Again, throw it out there. So I guess I have a prediction that the Braves will not be World Series champions. They say, how about them Yankees? That's what will occur. That's what Ron White is saying. I'm just answering that question for Ron White, saying, hey, for you all to understand what he's saying. So, Coach Rob DeLoach, why is everybody stealing from the Warriors, from coaches to players? In particular, we're talking about the Kings and the Lakers.
Well, the Lakers are afterthought. So those guys have won championships. Hey, they just come to wear the purple and gold. It's just part of the game in that LA, Oakland, Sacramento, Clipper arena. Once you get on the West Coast and get in LA, they just recycle those guys. LA is done, and I'm a Laker fan. Unless we get some youth. And Jerry West is not coming back to the Lakers to be the GM. But Golden State has figured out, keep 2 or 3 great players and surround them with some young athletic players, and they got the playbook. They got a great coach. They got a great leadership team. And barring any major injuries, they'll win it again.
Okay. All right.
We're going to get you for your birthday. We're going to get you a Golden State Warrior jersey, Jamal. And this is the champions next year. This is the champs next year in NFL.
That's his crystal ball. His crystal ball says be Kansas City. The dynasty of one. Kansas City, dynasty of one.
Hey, Kevin Sutton. So you're a Laker fan. You're a Harlem Globetrotter fan too now. Jamal, you froze too?
Yeah. Yeah. I
was gonna take over, Rob.
Yeah, I'm like,
this stuff here. So now we'll move on because again, everybody they just carry on. We're gonna throw this out there to you, Coach Rob DeLoach. We're gonna throw it out there to you. John Morant. He signed the extension back. He took it and he said, "Rollies for everyone. Rollies for everyone. Rollies for everyone." What's your thoughts on that? Coach Rob DeLoach from Jar said that rollies for everyone, for his team and rollies.
Yeah, well, it's levels of rollies, like everything else in life. So unless he's buying the presidential rollies, then they're just gonna have a rollie. They're not gonna have a Rolex. So there's a difference. But it's a good gesture. Jar was raised right. He understands that it takes a team environment. Hell, he got that big contract. And he probably have some sponsors that's going to just give him some Rolex watches anyway. Hell, he can't wear them all. So it's good just to build chemistry with the team that, hey, he's the man on the team. He's looking out for his teammates.
It's the $15,000 Rolex. The $15,000 Rolex.
That's not the presidential. Those are 20-something thousand.
But he's looking out for him. So, Coach Julius Hall, when are you going to do that for the Owl Black media folks? But anyway, back to God's job. What's your thoughts on God's job?
Y'all got that coming because we're switching over to Roku TV and we'll be coming to a living room near you soon.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is what I think when it concerning Ja Morant buying his whole team makes the it's only 15 of them. So him making it's only 14 that he got to buy if he buys himself 115. He just signed the max rookie contract, $193 million. $193 million. Now, what I would have done for these cats, I wouldn't have brought them that. He could have taken that $15,000 that he's spending and went and opened up a Chick-fil-A farm or something, so they can always have generational wealth and put all their names on it. He could have did that, opened up some type of franchise for him. He could have went and brought some land and built an apartment complex for him. Somebody need to teach these kids to stop throwing away money on luxury items that don't mean nothing. As soon as he put that watch on their arm, it ain't no more worth than this one I got right here. This is a Roly too. It's a roly-poly.
They keep time.
That's it. Same time that Roly kit. This watch will keep just as good a time as the Rolex. And nobody's looking at it.
Not a soul.
And I must go and say, Coach Julius Hall, this one time I'm quite surprised and I'm enthusiastic about your response. Other times I tend to shudder at your responses, but that was one that I'm like, that people say that was quite on point, and that is something that is real. So yeah, that comes down to the things that we try to say and tell folks that you gotta, you gotta work with your children, you gotta work with your kids. That's have them have understanding. That's what Coach Rob DeLoach is doing when he's tortured them at times. He tortured them, but then also give them some insight. So I'm just saying. But we will move on. Now, this right here, these topics here are all bunched together. So we're going to take it one at a time. UCLA and USC are now in the Big Ten, going to the Big Ten. What is that about, Coach Rob DeLoach? What is that about?
Money, 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 money. Money. It's pretty simple, Dr. Jamal. In the next 5 years, it's going to be...
What do you say?
I said the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to be one mega conference. It won't even matter about Big 10, Big 12, any of that. It's all about TV revenue. And even what some of the teams here in the Southeast are talking about, they're buying, ESPN is going to buy out the ACC's contract, so 4 other schools can join the SEC. And at some point, the conferences won't even matter. It's about who got the most money, who has the opportunity to create more revenue. And folks in the West Coast are tired of Alabama and Georgia and Clemson winning national championships. So somehow they got to bring their brands together to bring that football back to Midwest and on the West Coast. It's all about the dollar.
All right, Coach Julius Hall, USC, UCLA, they now go for it at the Big Ten. What's going on? What do you see with regard to that? Your crystal ball, what's about to happen?
Well, they're going to the Big 12.
You go to the Big 10.
Aren't they going to the Big 12? Because they was in the Pac-12.
They're going to the Big 10.
12 used to be the Pac-10.
They're going to the Big 10 now.
They're going to the Big 10. The Big 10 still kept the name Big 10, yeah.
Oh, even though they're the Big 12.
No, you got Big 12. That's another one we're going to talk about. But yeah, they're going to the Big 10. They go on there with regard to Ohio State, Michigan State, Michigan.
Okay.
Iowa.
That's UCLA and USC. That's right. They're going to the Big 10. The Big 12, that was Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah.
That's a separate topic we're going to talk about.
I just had them all mixed up.
That's what I just want you to just focus on one.
Yeah.
Miss Producer.
My bad. You're right.
Tip 1501. Tip. Now we talk 1501. Tip 1501.
Yeah, I went to Georgia Southern. Yeah, it's all about money. These schools are going to jump and jump and jump until they get to the right spot. It's all about money. These bowl games mean a whole lot. Certain conferences get the big bowls. Certain conferences get the big players. Everybody's going to want to be in the SEC after a while because this is where football is dominant at. They got a bunch of team speed on the West Coast, but you got all the talent in every skill position in the South. So that's why we win so many championships down here. The old Oklahomas and the Nebraskas back in the day used to have kids that were cyclops. These kids were so big, they just blew you off the line. And the running backs used to run up the field on you. But it's a big difference these days. And all those positions are skilled. And I don't blame them. They got to go where the money is.
All right. So now we're going to move on to the thing that you were so excited and want to talk about. Now, the Pac-12 now engaging in conversation with regard to the Big 12. What do you see might happen? What do you think will happen with regards to that? What's your thoughts on that, Coach Julius Hall?
Well, they both used to be the Big 10 and the Big 12 back in the day. But you got Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah moving, are talking about moving. And those are some big moves. If they can move around that freely and get into those type of conferences and doing their own thing the way they want to do it, when they want to do it, that still it goes back to UCLA and USC. It's about money. It's about positioning yourself to get the best athletes. They noticed that Alabama and Georgia and Texas A&M, all the SEC teams are just soaking up all the talent. So they got to try to position themselves to have some exciting football. You don't have exciting football, who wants to go play for you?
All right, Coach Rob.
Prime example is Dion. Everybody want to run down there. Why? Prime time. So.
Now the other thing is that Oregon is trying to join the Big Ten as well. Phil Knight.
Coach Rob DeLoach, that's another topic we're gonna break. I was just going in an order, Coach. That's all I was trying to do. I was just trying.
They're in the Pac-12.
I had wanted us to talk about the Pac-12 and then the Big 12 and talk about that right there. Then we're gonna move on to Oregon, But can we?
Aren't they in the Big 12? I mean the Pac-12.
Yes, they are. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's why I got a gold shirt and you don't have one.
Oh, that's right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah,
I'm trying to educate you.
Go ahead, Coach.
I'll leave that out. I'll leave it out. But I mean, the Big 12 is just trying to survive, and they're going to have all of the scraps from the Big 10 and the SEC. So it really won't matter. Whoever's left, they're just trying to, be relevant at some point. But like I said, in another 3 or 4 years, it won't even be about a conference football. SEC it has the money, it has all money. And if you're going to survive, matter of fact, NCAA won't even be around anymore. And because COVID has proven we don't need them to tell us what we need to do. We're going to play football in a pandemic. And there's nothing you can do about it.
That's right.
So, college football, as we grew up watching it, and you seeing this happening right in front of our very eyes, it's all about how do we generate more revenue. Who's going to watch it? West Coast teams don't like watching 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock football on the East Coast. And we not staying up past 10 o'clock to watch UCLA and USC. It's just not going to happen. So,
well, the football fools like myself, when the game is over and I'm still betting my next door neighbor a beer, then I stay up and watch that West Coast game. That's the only reason I stay up. I'm just a football fool. I'd rather watch football than anything. I watch basketball late into the playoffs, and I watch baseball only if it's the Braves, the Yankees. The Braves or the Yankees. That's the only. I can't watch no other baseball team.
You might watch You might watch the Dodgers because Magic. Tell him what he might say.
Yeah.
Ebony Sports Reporters, we do not advocate gambling. We do not advocate gambling, any pools, anything like that. That's for you, any fantasy sports, anything like that. We do not advocate that on Ebony Sports Reporters. Thank you very much.
But we do like to see the girls in the tights.
Coach Rob DeLoach. Phil Knight saying, hey, I want Oregon in the Big Ten. What type of move is that? That's what I don't get. What type of move is that you think Phil Knight is doing right now? Coach Rob DeLoach about having Oregon, putting out there he want Oregon in the Big Ten.
Phil Knight is Nike. And most of the Big Ten schools are Nike schools, so Phil Knight gets what he wants. And I didn't know this until my son was being recruited in football. Some schools are Nike elite schools, and some schools are just Nike schools. So there's only 5 schools, I believe 5 or 6 schools that are considered Nike elite. That's Alabama, USC, Florida State, Ohio State, and I believe the University of there's one more. There's 5 or 6 schools that are elite Nike schools, and everybody else gets the crumbs of the Nike brand. So those schools are the first ones to get all of the new Nike gear. So Phil Knight will be in the Big Ten if Phil Knight wants to be in.
Hey.
Dollar bill.
Coach Julius Hall, Ron White, we do not advocate gambling. That's fine for you to love gambling, but Ebony Sports Reporters, we do not advocate gambling. But, Coach Julius Hall, what is that about? What Phil Knight has done when he threw it out there? Bam, UCLA, USC going to the Big Ten. They make the announcement, and then he just stepped up to the plate and said, I want Oregon in the Big Ten.
Well, they got a line on that, You can go to Vegas and bet whether Phil Knight is going to get what he asks. You can go and bet. You can put $100 to win $200 on whether Oregon is going where Phil Knight wants them to go. Phil Knight, just do it. That's what Nike is. Just do it. And they're going to get it done if that's what he wants. He got enough money to buy, anything he wants. So they'll be moving. I'm sure they'll be moving.
And what people are saying that, again, we're going to see these conferences, which you said, Coach Roger Loach, that all is going to change and that the NCAA will probably not be around anymore. But folks are showing we don't need you. And people are saying that this is all based on football, but it's going to have an impact on all other sports. They said football, that's once a week, but you got other sports that play twice and 3 times a week. And they say that there's no consideration. They say, look at University of Central Florida, not having to travel to the Midwest, and again, all that's complete. What's your thoughts with regards to? Because that's now what some people are saying. Wait a minute, you creating these alliances that breaking geographical boundaries. So that again was more convenient for student athletes. They said now you're going to realize that this is not about student athletes. This is about workers right now. So, Coach Julius Hall, what's your thoughts with regards to now the dynamics? And they say it's not being thrown out for football solely, but football is going to impact all these other sports, and that there's somebody else that said that
at the window looking in right now. They're on the outside. That's Notre Dame.
Notre Dame right now. So again, the impact of all of that. What's your thoughts on that, Coach Julius Hall?
I'm for whatever is going to benefit the players, because see, the schools have been all we ever talk about is the schools. All we ever talk about is what is good for the school, and the schools have been what's a good word? I'm looking for a good word so you won't sanction me. I'm looking for a good word. They have been abusing our kids and using them, and I darn near want to put in seriously. These kids are slaves to these schools. They are, and the schools are the only ones that benefited forever until now, where they can now get some type of compensation. But they need to go back and pay some of these kids who made these schools great back then, And I know it should be some type of profit sharing, but we got to forget about the schools. I'm not really concerned with the schools anymore. I'm concerned with the with just the with the players.
All right. Okay. Yes, sir. Coach Rob DeLoach, like, for example, we have a Herschel V. Jenkins alum, Heavens V. Jenkins High School alum, who plays for Virginia Commonwealth. I mean, and so what's going on with that? He plays basketball. And again, he went to Berkmar, transferred from Jenkins, went to Berkmar, now at VCU. And so what they said, that's going to impact him with regard to his game. So what's your thoughts on this, Coach Rob DeLoach? His name is JJ DeLoach, but just to let y'all know, audience out there, again, stellar athlete and scholar athlete, Coach Rob DeLoach. What's your thoughts with regard to football now impacting all other sports?
Well, the good thing for VCU is that they don't have football, so they don't have that to compete against. So they already, they see that. So for them, basketball is king. So you will have some schools, like most of the Big East schools, don't have football, but they still survive. And most of them are must-see TV. Georgetown, I think they have football, but it may be Division II or Division III. That most people don't even pay that any attention. So there are schools that's already in the business of still being relevant despite not having a major football program at their schools.
And so how do you think it will impact those at Florida State now that because they now have to go, let's say, to the West Coast, so they may have to go to the Midwest and that they had these games. So what's your thoughts on that? Because some people, that's what they're saying, that now is really the exposure that this is not about them being students. It's now about them purely being workers.
Well, part of that is, if you notice that a lot of the games, the East Coast teams go to the West Coast to promote their brand. They're playing in the Fiesta Bowls. They're playing in other places other than in the South. And people get to see that, that SEC, ACC football in Arizona. And you and I, we see it every Saturday. And we don't travel because, okay, we can stay home and watch it because we know what it looks like. So you got to think, they have been playing on the West Coast at the major bowl games for years. And you're like, why is Florida State and Miami playing in Arizona in the Fiesta Bowl? Hey, they was putting this stuff together a long time ago. This ain't just something that's happened overnight. They have been planning to take over college football, the SEC and the ACC, but unfortunately, ACC hasn't been able, they've basically just had one team in the last 5 to 10 years. Clemson and Florida State has been pretty, relevant. But it's all about money. It's all about exposure. And if these kids and parents know, like I know, you better try to suck up all the resources that you can while you can. If you can get an NIL deal, hopefully Ebony Sports Reporter will be a NIL for my two boys. I just threw that out there.
Especially when they now when they are on Roku television, and then also when they now help me get Rollies, and then also Chick-fil-A franchise and other franchises also. That's what they've been doing. But again, just throwing out there, when folks are saying that now, like Central Florida now got to go to the Midwest, the basketball team, say they can remember the basketball team, baseball team, that now, and they before it was an easy road trip for them to go. If let's say they're going up to the northern part of Florida, as opposed to not traveling across the country. So that's one of the things we go out there. And so now we come home to the HBCUs. What is saying? We're going to combine it and throw it out there. They're saying that the MEAC is still relevant. The MEAC is still relevant. But they said that what are HBCU conferences now supposed to think about, which would be the MEAC and the SWAC. What do you foresee with regard to that? How do you look at the relevancy of the MEAC? And also, do you see a merger of the SWAC and the MEAC? Coach Rob DeLoach.
I don't think we at HBCUs have the revenue of these preferably white institutions. Not yet. I think that's what, Dion is a major factor in that. But still, we 50 years behind. And that's just being nice of playing the game. But I don't think we even have TV time for most of the HBCUs. At one time we only saw the game on Thanksgiving weekend. With Southern and Grambling.
Bayou, right? The Bayou Classic.
Bayou Classic. I mean, that has been it for years. And I don't know what other network is going to cover HBCU football other than Jackson State and whoever else they're playing. So I don't see, if you're talking about generating dollars and TV revenue, hell, we're not on any major network other than on that Bayou Classic weekend and the Celebration Championship with the HBCU. So I don't see that happening.
All right. And Coach Julius Hall, what's your thoughts about the MEAC viability and also a possible joining of the SWAC and the MEAC?
Well, I don't think that it'll happen because we hang on to old traditions too long when it doesn't help us. Sometimes we don't know when to move on. We don't know when to make those moves to benefit the institutions instead of trying to hang on to something of old. I think that it would be great if we can do that and combine these two leagues and create a super conference, but it's not going to happen because they can't get out of each other's way, and the egos are going to get in the way before they think about how beneficial it could be to the programs or to the kids. So the egos will probably take over. But I think that we need a super league like that, a super conference, so that you can recruit these coaches that played on an exceptional high level in the pros, and now they're not doing anything. They can come back and give their talents to the schools that they went to, even if it ain't the school they went to. These players can come back and coach like Dion is doing.
All right. And what is going on with regards to this is that folks are saying that our schools should be showcased. And at one time, throw it out there was one cable network that used to air HBCU games. And that's one thing that I had liked about it, but they moved away from it. That was BET. BET used to, on a weekly basis, used to air HBCU games. I used to like that because, again, but then they moved away from it and then went on a new direction with regards to BET. And so now we still staying with HBCUs, and this was not in Division II. This is Division II. In Division II, the SIAC, which is HBCU schools in Division II, they have led in attendance with the SIAC conference had led in attendance of Division II football. And that's not just been 1 year, that's been over a series of years. So what is all that about? That's what I'm just curious about. What's your thoughts on what is all that about? How are our schools able, our conference, the SIAC, been able to lead in attendance with regard to Division II schools across the entire country? Coach Julius Hall, who's yawning right now.
Because that was such a long introduction.
Because I was excited about it. That's why I got my Langston shirt right now. I got my Langston jersey right. Langston University out there in Oklahoma, even though they're NAIA. But again, I'm just saying, because a lot of people, they try to put us down about this, but here it is. We are leading, even Jackson State. The attendance at Jackson State and some have been superior to some of the Power 5 schools. But anyway, I'm going to go on with regard to Coach Julius Hall because I ain't going to say no more. Again, what's your thoughts with regard to Division II schools, being led, attendance being led by SIAC conference?
It's about time. It's about time that we recognize that we need to support these schools. It's about time that we recognize that we need to get in the stands and support these kids.
Well, actually, this has been going on. No, I'm saying this has been going on. This has been happening. So I'm just saying I want Ebony Sports Reporters to be the one for us to talk about this because, again, people don't realize that. That's what people think. I'm saying, no, this is over a series of years. This is not just this year or last year. SIAC has been leading out of all Division II conferences. It's been the SIAC. So that's what people talk about Black people. We have been leading the conferences with regard to the attendance. We've been going to our games.
Yeah, it's because recently the meat has been lower, and so they've been holding some great cookouts in the parking lots. So now everybody's attending and going inside the game. So if you tailgating, the beer is cheap now. So that's probably one of the reasons why.
Oh Lord, Jesus. Oh Lord. I'm too scared. Coach Rob DeLoach, what do you think that's about? Jesus.
Well, if you look at the location of the SIAC schools, hell, ain't nothing else to do but go to the games. What else you gonna do in Fort Valley but go to the game on Saturday? What else you gonna do in Tuskegee but go to a game or Albany? What else you gonna do? And you know the difference when there's not football in those small towns with HBCUs. You can tell there's not much excitement going on. So not only does it generate revenue for those communities, I mean that's probably the biggest revenue all year is football games.
And the Ebony Sports Reporters need to be at some of those games on Saturdays, Coach Rob. We need to go as a group.
I think we do.
No.
And well, that's what I'm gonna throw out to you, because actually, I'm gonna say this, what the NCAA, some of those other folks don't understand. What plays a role? The classics, because that has been one of the things that have been said. That's why some you say with the swag and also the MEAC Act, some of them are like saying, we don't want to do this right here because we make more money when we not have the Florida Classic, where you got Bethune and Fan playing one another. And that's why, again, now Savannah doesn't do it, but Columbus, Macon, they have classics that are there. The Fountain City Classic, they have the classics. Again, everybody got their classic. Even Morehouse got classics. Everybody got classics, and that plays a role. And that brings about that camaraderie. But also, it's an economic engine, not just for the small towns, but also for the cities. That's what people kept saying, why does Savannah not have an HBCU Classic? In Indianapolis, they got the Central City Classic right there. So that's just something that needs to be thrown out there. I want people to understand, Black college football does bring in money, and then let's not go to basketball, the CIAA tournament, that right there, that's revenue. So I'm just throwing it out that, Ebony Sports Reporters probably need to be a part of some of this right here. So maybe the president might need to be talking to these people about that. That's why I want them to understand. We talk about them.
Well, part of it is when we get our new mayor, and I'll get on the committee for athletics. Did I say something wrong?
One. You're absolutely correct. The new mayor should be able to appoint somebody to the athletic, because it's more than just about buildings that he's putting up a backing. You're right.
We're gonna bring some classics here once I get on that committee. With the new leadership.
The Run Tell That Classic.
Yeah, we're gonna run and tell that.
Rob, let them run tell that. Run tell that classic.
Yeah, we're gonna bring a classic to Savannah.
As we share, you never know what will come out the mouths of our coaches on Ebony Sports Reporters. This has been Ebony Sports Reporters, and we're signing out right now because we have another show about to come on.
We still got a minute.
No, it's 58 minutes.
It's 58 minutes. So go ahead. Whatever else you got to go. Coach, go ahead.
You got something.
I'm just saying, I support our mayor in Savannah, Georgia.
The new one that's going to be elected?
That's who he's talking about. That's who he's talking about, the new mayor.
All right, okay. So you got to be a visionary. You can't be stuck back.
He's visionary. Yeah, right. He already said it.
I'm speaking
that into existence, Jamal.
That's right. We will have a classic in Savannah, Georgia. We will no longer let Macon and Columbus, Georgia, have the classics here in the city of Georgia, or Atlanta or Albany. That Savannah now will be stepping up to the plate, having a classic maybe with South Carolina State and Savannah State. Because again,
we're going to bring the Battle of the Bands back to Savannah.
That's right. The Run Tell That Classic. Y'all put it in your brains. Put it in the air. The Run Tell That Classic.
I'm signing off.
And this has been Ebony Sports Reporters. Coach Julius Hall, Coach Rob DeLoach. We'll see you all next week.
Peace.
Peace.
All right.
that. I like 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 that.